Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted, one of our 6 weekly shows. This is Wanted, and it comes after Reality Hacker and before the Continuity Report each Saturday. And on Sunday, we have 3 other shows. Stick around. We're going to do all 6 in rapid fire today because we couldn't do them over the weekend. Mayoral duties kept me really busy. But that's not why you're here for this inside baseball stuff. You want to know what we're talking about today at Wanted. Wanted is a show about gadgets and gear, and it's stuff that I want. So see a hard drive at work, smart Birdhouse, the Nikon Coolpix P1100, Nike workout shoes, and Street Fighter gaming chair. We'll talk about that on the other side. All right, everybody, what you see here is the front page of ohmtown.com, but what you're really interested in is found in Wanted. Although we take from all over ohmtown.com, we aggregate news, just headlines and a little snippet. You'll see how it works. Our first article is Buffalo put a window on a hard drive so you can see what it looks like at work. The Buffalo Skeleton hard disk puts the inner workings of a 4 terabyte hard drive on display. I no longer encourage spinning disks unless they are for basically long-term storage or like surveillance, NAS stuff that isn't going to be used a lot unless you buy enterprise class storage devices. The failure rate to me is that kind of spooks me too much. And I prefer solid state drives because they're faster, dramatically faster. But to help celebrate the 50 years that parent company has been in business, Japan's Buffalo is the manufacturer, has announced a limited edition external hard drive with a window that lets you see its inner workings. It says, don't whip out your credit card just yet, though. Buffalo Skeleton hard drive is limited to just 50 units or $700. It's a 4 terabyte spinning disk. I don't know if it actually still functions or not. I think it's really fascinating. It looks pretty. It's black and gold, and you can actually see the wires. But the drive is at a 45-degree or so angle inside this metal housing with a clear acrylic. It looks like maybe it's glass frame. It's pretty cool. Buffalo is reviving a hard drive design from 1998 that reveals its inner workings. Andrew Lazuski put the article together. And you'll be able to see the arm going across the drive. Usually it's pretty fast, though. So the Skeleton hard drive mounts a 4 terabyte hard drive inside a machined aluminum housing with a small window attached to it to turn it into a 3.3 pound hard drive. Gold and anodized black finish is an homage to Retro Melco, Buffalo's parent company record player. That's kind of what I envisioned it to be. Looks like it's USB-C instead of... Oh, it's a micro B? Is what? The external drive features a power connector on the back and a USB micro B port instead of USB-C? That... What the hell? Anyway, I love the idea of this. I think that this is pretty cool. Nowadays, though, I would rather it just be solid state. But I love this. If I had $700 that I wanted to drop at something that looks nice and isn't really functional, because I would never use anything that's USB, anything other than C at this date. Yeah. So at CES 2006, Western Digital launched a 150 gigabyte serial ATA drive called the Raptor X with a similar design to the new HD SKL that used a small window to reveal a portion of its interior. So that's that right there versus that right there, the big old skeleton hard disk. Looks pretty cool. Anyway, let's keep on moving. This next article is over in Reality Hacker. That was the show that we just got done doing. Bird feed. Sounds like Eufy, but bird feed. Nest Polygon Smart Birdhouse Review. It says, primed for pictures, creatively designed Nest box is ready to tell a story if it can attract birds. The article is in the Wired section called, Gear. And this creatively designed camera Nest box. So birds fly in, it actually can hold onto it and it'll take picture. When they land, it'll take pictures. And there's a camera inside that looks down into the bird box, and that's where they can make a nest. This has actually been really huge. Third eaglet belonging to famous big bear bald eagles dies, it says here, during a snowstorm. Jackie and Shadow continue to care for their eaglets. Shows the real world happenings of a bird nest. And this is something that streams online, but you can do the same thing using something like this. Basically, you just stream from that little bird cam. I think that it's pretty brilliant. And people are really fascinated by this stuff. They want to see how nature actually works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in real time. Also of interest are the interchangeable lens entry holes, 0.9 inches, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches, each with its own metal predator guard to prevent chewing by squirrels and other unwanted visitors. The BirdFeed website lists the types of birds that are attracted to each size hole, but they said that they found some suggestions, such as the size preferred by the black-capped chickadee, to contradict advice that they'd seen elsewhere. They also recommend consulting Cornell Labs Nest Watch project for both hole sizes and nesting box heights, because some birds won't go certain height or too low, right? Find this kind of stuff pretty interesting. The camera needs to be kept above 32 degrees Fahrenheit for optimal operation, and birds' nesting instinct is activated within a fairly rigid window of time. If you're in the U.S., the U.S. Department of Agriculture Farm Service Agency has a handy chart, and it's linked to that chart there in the Wired article. And there is much more over there. You can go and check it all out. That said, it says that it's a solid 1080p video quality with infrared night vision, interchangeable lenses. Interchangeable hole sizes, not lenses, but interchangeable hole sizes to attract different birds, remote access for charging and restarting, and no subscription is needed. They say that no birds have nested in it. Varnished interior and large cavity size may be off-putting. Audible camera click when going live could scare curious visitors. No roof overhang to keep water out. That's on the side here, down here. Yeah, kind of needs a little bit more shade and protection. There's an overhang over here, but not on this side. That could be augmented though. Anyway, pretty neat. I dig this kind of stuff. All right, the next article is over on the Wanted channel. Hey, got a show name for that. Nikon Coolpix P1100 Super Zoom camera review. See bird butts from 1,000 feet. Now, I chose these, but I did not choose all of these in this order, and I definitely didn't plan to have two bird articles. Anyway, Nikon's ultimate super zoom camera returns, and while it's filled with highly particular niche, it's basically alone in that niche, which is the super zoom, a 300 millimeter lens, basically hard coded into this thing. Nikon's ultimate super zoom. Jeffrey Morrison over at cnet.com put the article together, and it says here, you can't see the Apollo 11 landing site, but you can get shots of the moon that rival some inexpensive telescopes. It's a point-and-shoot camera that goes from 24 millimeters to 3,000 millimeters. Not 300 millimeters, it's a 3,000 millimeter. And yeah, it's pretty darn amazing. 15.9 megapixel camera, 4K 30 video, which the reason why I flinch about 4K 30 is that the more frames per second you get, the more chance you get at capturing something you really want. But when it's only 30, you lose half that from 4K 60, right? Kind of makes sense. So, but the problem with that is you need more light when you get more frames. Otherwise, things get blurry and whatever else. Anyway, a few things make such zoom possible is in reasonably compact portable package. It's not a very fast lens. It's reasonable at f2.8, which isn't that bad at the wide end, but then drops off as soon as you start to zoom, ending in f8, which for that distance, I think that it's reasonable, depending on the price. So let's see. They say that the P1100 sensor is the same size as the far more compact Panasonic ZS-99, their overall pick for best point-and-shoot camera. I say the best camera is the one that you've got in your hand, which is typically your phone, so embrace that. But that's a beast of a lens to be throwing out. Significant changes the P1100 adds from its predecessors are Bluetooth 5.2, easier connections to modern phones, USB-C, required by EU law, but a welcome addition regardless. Nikon SnapBridge app isn't flashy, but it connects to the camera easily. So these ducks are down there in that pond, little creek kind of a thing. Either there or there. I don't know where they are on this picture. Taken from the same spot 1 minute apart, you can just barely make out the first duckling coming around the corner on the left, so over here. But then when you zoom in, you get to see them all. That's insane. Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. Like way over there. Way over there. All right. And this is the water bottle. It says the water bottle is on the center of the image on the left. So I guess right there. Yeah, I don't know. There's somebody walking right there. I don't really see it. Anyway, this is pretty amazing stuff. ISO is maxed out at 6400. Let's see if I can find something else of interest. Yeah, just more zoom like crazy. Let's see. So, who is it for? Basically, anyone who wants or needs a massive zoom lens without taking out a second mortgage to pay for it. You'd have to spend many thousands of dollars to get a comparable zoom in a mirrorless or DSLR. So DSLR and mirrorless are basically the same thing, except without the mirror slap from a DSLR, that the single lens reflex. This mirror slap is when the mirror drops out. The mirror drops out of the way so that it can hit the sensor instead of you looking through it to frame it. When you push the button, the mirror drops down. So the P1100 is $1,100, so it's right in the name. So without exaggeration, there really isn't anything like the P1100 without spending a ton of money. It depends on your glass, I suspect. Let's see. Let's see if I can find something. You can get a 1300. Okay, wait. Let me scroll back up for a second. I want to see the beginning lens is 24 and it zooms out to 3000. Okay, you're never going to find that. And even the Canon RF 1200 is $20,000. I know that there are other lenses, like you can get a 650 to 1300, and that's f8 to 16, and it's $210, but it pales in comparison to the glass from Canon. But honestly, it's 650 to 1300. So yeah, this is a pretty good deal if you're looking to reach out and touch someone. This next article is over in the Wanted channel. Nike's $900 workout shoes with compression and heating launch next week. The Nike Hikey boot, the Nike Hikey boots, the Nike Hyper boots, made to help you warm up and recover from workouts, will soon be available this weekend. Actually, tomorrow. The article is over at CNET. Corrine Reichert put the article together, and these are the Hyper boots. It says Hyper Ice, but why is it heating if it says ice? Anyway, $899. The Hyper boot will be available to buy in North America in just a week. The high tops, which Nike and Hyper Ice say, it's a brand. Hyper Ice say are wearable, much like your smartwatch, help your feet warm up before and recover after a workout. The footwear available May 17th does this with heating and air compression massage technology right there in your shoes, taking the whole idea of a heating pad and compression socks and making them mobile. Well, I'm kind of curious, what is the weight limit of this? I mean, let's see, the footwear available May 17th, so in 7 days still. Not this Saturday, because it says this Saturday, or Saturday. Anyway, the batteries last 1 to 1.5 hours on max heat and compression settings, or 8 hours if you're only using the massage setting. It takes 5 to 6 hours to charge via USB-C cable. Jeez. That's some slow roll battery there. The Hyperboot contains a system of dual air bladders and delivers sequential compression patterns and are bonded to thermally efficient heating elements that evenly distribute heat throughout the shoe's upper. The way I see this is it's niche, and I don't know. You're not going to be running in these. You're just going to put them on, I guess, and walk around gently. They almost have a rounded foot. And this is pretty insane. Anyway, do I want them? Yeah, sure. It'd be neat to try them out. I think that Nike should send them. But I'm usually sitting in an office or on my way to some location to sit in an office. Let's move on. Our last article for today's Wanted is over in Wanted. Overhaul your gaming space with the $183 off Street Fighter Edition gaming chair. If you're a Street Fighter 6 fan, this Whoop deal slashes the cost of Cooler Master's Caliber X2 gaming chair down to just $117 for a limited time. We don't have a deal with anybody, not CNET or Woot or anybody. We are largely just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Adrian Marlowe put the article together for CNET.com. That's what it looks like right there. Does it have a drink holder? All right. So you can snag Cooler Master's Caliber X2 Street Fighter 6 Ken Edition. All right. So it says, why does the deal matter? Gaming chairs don't come cheap, and at just over $100, the Ken-themed Street Fighter 6 Edition is a great buy for fans and knocks $183 off the original price. So maybe they're just trying to get rid of them. Do I really want this? I want another chair. I like trying out chairs. The only one that's really worked for me, though, is an Aaron chair for long periods of time. I was sitting in 2 different locations this weekend for a total of 8 hours across the 2 days. And boy, was I glad to be sitting back in my Aaron chair. Well, anyway, go over to cnet.com and check out this article. They'll all be embedded in the show notes for... I'm going to try and put all of the articles in the show notes for all of the shows, just in case you want to hop, skip, and jump to all of the shows. All right, but that's it. That is the end of our Wanted. So we're going to jump into our rolling chair and fling ourselves down the hallway that isn't carpeted. Yep, it's all stone, and so we're just going to roll all the way down Main Street to the front page of Wanted over at ohmtown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Be sure to sign up, follow us over on YouTube and on Twitch. We're always there, except this weekend for whatever reason. We streamed, though, the replay of the last 2 weeks, and we'll do it again. See you soon.